Welcome to Research Business Daily Report, where market researchers come for news, insights, and commentary about the market research field. And we provide them with knowledge and insights that impact them both inside and outside their current place of business. Today on RBDR, longtime MasterCard International senior business leader and the current founder of Consilience Research and Consulting, Fred John, addresses the push-pull that takes place when an internal client tells their client research function, "We've got a project to do." RBDR is sponsored today and this week by Symmetric Sampling, a division of decision analysts providing sampling services to companies that place a high value on representative samples, scientific sampling methods, and advanced fraud detection systems. You can learn everything you've ever wanted to know, both general and highly specific, about a company's sample offerings, and you can do so for Symmetric Sampling at symmetricsampling.com. I invite you to see for yourself with a visit there, where you'll find out about their panels and how they manage them, their answers to SMR's 28 questions about sampling, white papers, and there is much, much more. Fred John spent 11 years at MasterCard International, and he capped his time there as a senior business leader. And now he has just written an article for Quirks. It deals with the back and forth discussion between client market research department and their internal customers when a project comes up. Fred makes several important points about the agreement that the researcher and the client must come to about any project in order for it to reach proper resolution. Fred, in your Quirks article, which is called The Business of Research Towards a Working Definition, you deal with an issue that is really very, very, at its basis, at its most basic point, the conversation that begins between an internal client of a researcher, of a client with the research organization, when they think they have a problem or a project that needs to be done. And as I understand it, that's really why you decided to put all this information and your points of view on paper. So, in brief, tell me exactly what it is that you've seen happen over and over again with clients that you think you can help remedy.
Well, I think the challenge with clients is that they very often come in with their own ideas about what methods should be applied, and or the researcher gets lost in proposing all kinds of methodological solutions.
So from the client side, you're talking about, hey, Fred, I think we need to do a focus group.
Exactly.
And from your end, from a researcher end, it's okay, I've got great ways to do research, and you haven't really gotten into what the project or what the problem actually is.
Right, and the typology I've created really serves as a talking tool that initially asks the client a few questions that will help the researcher understand basically where the solution can be found, and then the researcher can take it from there.
Okay. Is the issue you're talking about there something that has become exacerbated, or is it something that's really just been there and may never go away, but let's take a crack at it?
I think it's become exacerbated with all the changes in the industry. Obviously, we all know that there are many, many new ways of looking at data, creating data, types of data used, analyses, and so forth. And this has created a lot of confusion on the part of researchers, but also on the client side, very often they gravitate to what they've heard about. So before you even get into that discussion, it's a way of setting the stage that enables us to focus much more clearly on what kinds of solutions will work to meet their objectives.
Okay. And the crux of your way of looking at this situation is you came up with what you call 3 typologies.
Well, it's a single typology with 3 dimensions.
Okay. So what's the first one?
The first one is what I call the probable accuracy of the solutions that the research produces. Now, we've used projectability in the past, but that obviously doesn't apply to qualitative research, and there are a lot of challenges to have purely projectable results even from quantitative these days. But I think subjectively, we very often can make an assessment whether the results are quite or highly likely to reflect the market as a whole, moderately, or maybe not much at all. And this is important because for many clients, they don't need top accuracy. They just need an indication, something that could be directional, or even just, they might look for some insights. That obviously affects costs. And if the client is looking for something moderately accurate, and we're trying to sell them something that's much more expensive, that at 99% accuracy, we're missing the mark.
Okay. Second dimension?
It's basically whether it's active or passive capture. Active are all the things we've done forever, from surveys to focus groups. But we know there are many, many other data streams we are now tapping into, which the individuals, whether they're online or purchasing things at a store, are contributing information that they're not consciously doing. So that decision is very important too, because we want to know, do we have to do a live, a custom study, or can we rely on information that can be captured in another way? Or maybe the client has a lot of the data already, they just haven't analyzed it yet.
Strikes me that is a singularly new kind of angle that you need to understand, because the passive approach really wasn't there until social media.
Yeah, it wasn't there. And of course, there are all kinds of ethical issues that are raised, privacy issues, and that kind of thing that the industry is struggling with.
And the third dimension?
The third dimension is essentially, what is the purpose of the research? Is it what I call the what, the why, or the what if? What is basically trying to find out the current market situation? What's the spend on our product? What is our awareness? That kind of thing. The why usually gets into motivation. What are the drivers of preference? And the what if, a research that tries to determine what the likelihood impact will be of a new ad, a new concept, or testing, other kinds of things. Now, these three dimensions, which when you put together, you get a three-dimensional cube. I have 18 cells. You note they're really not dependent on specific methodologies, which I expect will continue to proliferate and grow and expand. But it's rather an approach that is pre-methodological. Once we understand where the client is coming from, what kind of information they're looking for, what kind of answers, then we can start talking about what the right methodology is.
You can learn more from Fred by reading his article in Quarks. It's entitled The Business of Research Towards a Working Definition. That's your Research Business Daily Report, which is sponsored today and this week by Symmetric Sampling, a division of Decision Analysts, providing sampling services to companies that place a very high value on representative samples, scientific sampling methods, and advanced fraud detection systems. Check things out at symmetricsampling.com. Have a great research day and rest of your business week, and here's to a great upcoming weekend for us all. Next week on RBDR, we're going to present our best of reports, some of which you undoubtedly have missed the first time around. Take care.